I've been making a lot of atheists mad lately.
I learned something new about atheists. They are in denial, big time. And I don't mean denial of God's existence. I mean denial of atheism.
I don't understand why atheists have such a strong desire to change us Christians into atheists. Obviously, you guys understand why we want you to be Christian, because we want everyone to be Christian, because ultimately it takes you to a place that we have no power to take you to. And so that's why we try to push God on you. But you guys are just trying to push yourselves on us. And you guys call us selfish and powerful and controlling. But really, it's like, really, what the heck is your point in doing anything that you do? Like, seriously, if I was an atheist and I truly believed what you believed, probably wouldn't really care what happened to anybody, and I probably wouldn't be making YouTube videos to try to spread the word of nothing. Like, seriously, that's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Have you ever told a lie?
Are you going to do the Ray Comfort thing on me?
Yeah, you've heard it before, huh?
Yeah.
All right, well, you understand, though, that you have broken God's commandments, right?
Being a preacher isn't really going to get you anywhere.
That's okay, but you understand by breaking his commandments, you'll be heading to hell whether you believe in
How
one
do
or
you know
not.
there's not a God that sends you to hell for believing in the wrong God?
And so the thing is...
What if a God exists that sends you to hell because you're not an atheist?
So here's the deal.
You're
probably lied,
only your
probably
God exists,
stolen.
and therefore only your God is capable of existing.
That's right.
Actually, many other gods could exist and could send people to hell for other reasons. One God could exist and send you to hell arbitrarily just because it feels like it.
So tell you what, you get 30 seconds, I get 30 seconds. How's that? Or do you want to out-talk me?
The largest number of men and women in the Middle East today who are coming to Christ, by the tens of thousands, are coming to Christ because of a vision or a dream in which God has intervened in their lives.
Here are the conclusions of atheism. Number one, we are all biological accidents. Number two, there is no ultimate moral authority. Morality is subjective. And number three, there is no real purpose to our existence.
This is a generation that's going to stand for purity and righteousness and holiness, and you're going to serve the Lord all the days of your life. And we declare all those things over you.
That in order to recognize an explanation as the best explanation, you don't have to have an explanation of the explanation.
About 6 months ago, I created an argument called the Elliot argument, which I formally created. I didn't copy it from nowhere. I invented it myself.
I'm asking you as an atheist for an answer to this question. Where did the universe come from and why? Very simple question. And I would like to know your answer to that question. Either matter has always existed, which is impossible, or a being has always existed, which is also impossible, or matter created itself from nothing, which is impossible, or a higher power created matter from nothing, which is also impossible. So basically, if you're an atheist, it's impossible for us to be here, yet I'm here.
I would say this: any theory on the origin of life on the Earth, or any other planet as far as that's concerned, is a fairy tale.
A fairy tale, pure and simple. Life from non-life, apart from God's direct intervention, is a fairy tale. But despite that obvious truth, evolutionists continue to build their supposedly scientific case on a foundation that virtually rules out everything that follows after it.
As an atheist, you certainly can be good and honest and respectful and caring and loving, etc. And how exactly do you do that? by rejecting the conclusions of atheism.
You idiot! The universe is a constant. It's just always been there.
Well, if you're right, that means the universe defies the law of cause and effect, doesn't it? And that would make the existence of our universe supernatural, which means we both believe in a supernatural cause for our existence.
If I take a sterile test tube and I put in it a little bit of fluid with just the right salts, just the right balance of acidity and alkalinity, just the right temperature, the perfect solution for a living cell, and I put in it one living cell. This cell is alive. It has everything it needs for life. Now I take a sterile needle and I poke that cell, and all its stuff leaks out into this test tube. You have in this nice little test tube all the molecules you need for a living cell. Not just the pieces of the molecules, but the molecules themselves. And you cannot make a living cell out of them.
You go to bed tonight, and I'll get on your knees and ask Jesus Christ, if he's who he claims to be, to reveal himself to you in one way or the other. And I'll tell you sooner or later, he will make himself known till a point will come where you will say, there is no other explanation for what's happening other than that he is on my trail. You'll find it that he's not hidden, he's quite revealed.
Evolution teaches that energy, such as lightning or heat, plus matter, can occasionally create new life. Yet our entire food industry rests on the fact that this can never happen. If we examine a jar of peanut butter, it contains matter and is exposed to light and heat. But we never find new life inside unless an outside life contaminates it.
If the theory of evolution was viable, then I should occasionally, by subjecting this to energy, end up having new life. Now we go down to the store, and if I open this jar of peanut butter, maybe not often, but on some occasion, I should find new life inside. And so, when we open the jar of peanut butter, we look in there, there's no new life. And aren't you glad, okay? Now, you may smile at this, but hopefully you'll never forget it, because you and I conduct, collectively, over 1 billion experiments every year, and we've done that for virtually 100 years. And we never encounter new life. In fact, the entire food industry of the world depends on the fact that evolution doesn't happen.
Let me say something about Harry Potter. Warlocks are enemies of God. And I don't care what kind of hero they are. They're an enemy of God. And had it been in the Old Testament, Harry Potter would have been put to death.
You idiot. The universe just kind of started on its own. The Big Bang was how the universe created itself.
How would the universe create itself? That would also break the law of cause and effect. You just said that was a big reason you don't believe in God. So then, shouldn't you stop believing in our universe?
You need to have an explanation of the explanation of the explanation. And so on to infinity. You would never have an explanation of anything, which would destroy science.
Because under atheism, your only hope for a happy and fulfilling life is to live in denial.
So you break one commandment, that's called sin. If you've ever lied, stolen, or misused his name, God will see you as a lying thief and a blasphemer on Judgment Day. You'd be found guilty and go to hell, right? But if you put your trust in Jesus Christ, God will forgive you, grant you everlasting life when you repent of that sin. Okay, your turn.
What evidence do you have for any of that?
Don't have to show you any evidence.